Let's start this week with a cautionary tale about knowing your limits. Because like many, the advent of digital wallets and Apple Pay has found my debit card gathering dust in the drawer along with my checkbook. And for those of you that do the same, make sure you check your bank's daily Apple Pay limit. Because this week I was sorting out a car for my youngest, and it meant that an eagle had to come to the rescue of a sparrow. How many parking apps do you have on your phone? Well, this week I found it very easy to park in Essex and pay in London. Pay by Phone and Ringo both have green logos. There was a small wooden wall between this Pay by Phone car park and the Ringo car park next door, and 79938 was a valid Ringo car park reference. Did I get a ticket? Well, luckily not on this occasion. My second cashless challenge this week was paying a tradesman when his POS device had no phone signal. So rather than pretending the cardholder was not present, it was faster payments to the rescue. The Jamaica Wine House, known locally as the Jam Pot, is located in St Michael's Alley in the heart of London's financial district. It was the first coffee house in London and was visited by the English diarist Samuel Pepys in 1660. It's now a Grade 2 listed public house and is set within a labyrinth of medieval courts and alleys in the City of London in the ward of Cornhill. The Jamaica Wine House has historic links with the sugar trade of the West Indies and the Ottoman Empire. And indeed there's a plaque on the wall which reads, "Here stood the first London coffee house at the sign of the Pasquale Rosé's head 1652. Pasquale Rosé, the proprietor, was the servant of a Levant Company merchant named Daniel Edwards, who was a trader in Ottoman goods, who imported the coffee and assisted Rosé in setting up the establishment. The coffee house, which opened in 1652, is known in some accounts as the Turk's Head. Coffee houses became key places for businessmen, politicians and intellectuals to meet and discuss the matters of the day, laying the groundwork for what would become a key city pub for bankers. And over time, the coffee house evolved into a tavern and eventually into the Jamaica Wine House that we know today. But another reason for the Jam Pot's fame is it is the location of my first city pint as a teenage payments clerk processing chaps' payments just days after the launch of this newly fangled electronic payment instrument. When did you last visit a bank? Or more importantly, why do you even need to go to a bank? According to the British Banks Association, there were over 14,000 operational bank branches in 1986. And if I look at ONS data, this had fallen to just over 5,700 operational branches by 2023. Well, in the 1980s, I had to choose a placement for my 2 weeks work experience. And for some unfathomable reason, I chose banking, and was packed off each morning on a bus to Lloyd's Bank in Tiptree, Essex, the place where the jam comes from. And my 2 weeks work experience consisted of 2 weeks of boredom. I was grappling with the waste, something about cheques drawn elsewhere. I was sorting out the stationery cupboard. And each week I wheeled a trolley of old statements and bank paper to the furnace at a bookbinder's behind the bank branch itself. Well, this week I thought I'd take a trip down memory lane and visit my old place of work experience at the sign of the Black Horse. But on appearing there and turning up, I only found a hole in the ground. The Bank of England, the old lady of Threadneedle Street, both at the heart of the city and my whole career in payments. My 5 direct and indirect touch points with the Bank of England are firstly the formation of the bank in the late 17th century, when my ancestors were amongst the founding directors and subscribers. Secondly, when my mum was a bank clerk but resigned her position just prior to my birth. Thirdly, as a teenager, running down Lombard Street, through Pope's Head Alley and across in front of what is now known as the Royal Exchange, jumping in through the small metal doors to pay in bankers' payments by 3:15 after being told that long overnight balances at the bank were unremunerated, but short balances were unforgivable. My fourth direct interaction with the Bank of England was as Chief Executive of the UK's systemically important payment systems, when the bank was regarded as my overseer. We now use a different term, with the bank being a financial stability regulator. And finally, having been involved in CHAPS since the first year of its operation, I'm looking on with interest at the bank's real-time gross settlement renewal programme, which would deliver the next generation of RTGS here in the United Kingdom. And finally, I think that Prudence is likely to go very hungry in this less cash society. Thank you for watching this video dose of Payments Unpacked. Be sure to subscribe and check out my newsletter at payments-unpacked.co.uk.